Hello and welcome. Happy Thursday. I am excited to be here with you today. I know applications are in full swing for round two, and some of you are still going through interview preparation or actually having your interview. And I hope that all of those components are going well. I am here to talk about Wharton and Booth, but before we go into those details, I just wanted to give you just to talk a bit about logistics before we get started. Every week we host a live session where we talk about different components of the MBA application journey, whether it's school selection, whether it's application development. You want to be a part of our community if this is the application, if you are going through an MBA application. And that means you should join our YouTube channel or LinkedIn or Facebook, because we are in those channels as we do our lives. These live sessions, not only are you going to, of course, gain insights about the application process, but you can also ask direct questions that you have in terms of your application. So I have another screen on this side where I will be monitoring your comments and your questions. So please type them in whichever platform you're joining us from. This way I can answer those questions live. Next week, we have two events happening. One is with SIA Admissions, which is the company that I am the founder of. We're going to talk about Columbia Business School and NYU. So we're doing a comparison between the two, and that's next week, Thursday. Every Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern time, we are live. So that would be our regular schedule. But in addition, we will be joining GMAT Club on the 13th, where we will be talking about how to overcome setbacks in your application. So GMAT Club is going to have a spotlight, MBA Spotlight fair. And in that session on the 13th, we will be talking about sort of overcoming obstacles in your profile to, have a stronger application when you submit. So if you're interested in a topic like that, I encourage you to join. You can find the link to register on the screen, as well as in the comments of the platforms that you are joining us from. If you have questions about your specific profile and are looking for a coach to support you through this process, you can also reach out to us to discuss your profile specifically in ways that we can support you. This is a no obligation. We do actually only work with people that we feel that we can support in this process. So it's a mutual discovery on both sides. Our approach here at SIA is really tailored coaching. We want to make sure that the applicant puts their best foot forward to the admission team, to the schools that they are applying to. We focus on top 20 business schools. And we have a lot of experience working with these schools to make sure that, of course, we are going to provide you with the greatest insight in terms of being able to present your story, where there's a relationship between how you share your experiences and what the school is looking for and their expectations. We do provide comprehensive support, so this means that you will be guided through every step of the process, all the components that you need to go through. And I saw some questions coming in on some of those components that we actually cover in the coaching program, so or a coaching process. So definitely, if you're looking for a coach, reach out. All right, let's get started. So today we're going to talk about the program strengths. We're going to cover a few key program differences between Wharton and Booth. I know a lot of you who are applying to these two schools, especially if you have like a finance interest. These schools are definitely on your radar. And we want to talk a little bit about the differences and how you make your selections, especially if you are already reaching your 5 or 6 schools on your list of shortlist schools. You do want to make sure that you are, capping your school submissions, application submissions, because obviously the more, given the time that we're in right now, so we have essentially 2 months until the round 2 application is due, at least for Wharton, and you want to make sure that you maximize and not lose quality by overstretching your application materials, right? So this can be very helpful in making that decision between these two schools. But also, if you're thinking to apply to both, this session is quite important because you're going to see the differences between the two schools, even though most applicants have a hard time differentiating a lot of the components. Right, let me just make sure that I'm not missing any of your comments. Okay, great. All right, so let's talk about Wharton specifically. Obviously, we want to start with a bit of an overview of what Wharton looks like in terms of their class, in terms of the curriculum, the culture, and where our students, who are the students that are interested in terms of their post-MBA career. So the class is relatively large at Wharton, which means that the class experience itself is a very large community of individuals you'll be a part of. It's about 866. The class of 2026 is 866 strong, and these are individuals from all different kinds of backgrounds that are that are collected essentially in the Wharton experience. The acceptance rate is about 25% of the applicants that are applying are admitted. The process is quite rigorous. You have to, if you're looking at these two applications, you will definitely see how different Wharton application process is, especially post-submission, compared to any other program that you are considering. It is known as a quant school. It's originally a finance school, and therefore they do have quite a structured curriculum, but they also have quite a bit of electives that allow you to customize your experience later down the line once you have the foundations down. The culture is obviously a very large community, but it's very collaborative and social. For those who are thinking about, okay, what is Wharton, where can I go with a Wharton degree? Wharton is obviously one of the holy trinities, as they're known in the MBA world. So the holy trinity is Harvard, Stanford, Wharton as like the three best MBA programs to consider. And because it's a finance school, obviously financial services, and all of it's even more competitive than investment banking or corporate finance. So like those who are interested in venture capital, private equity, have quite a bit of opportunities that come as a result of being in the Wharton MBA community. But that's not the only place that people go. It's not just a finance school. So if you are looking, of course, to go into the consulting space, obviously there's quite a lot of opportunities there. If you're looking to go into tech, whether your job is, product manager or anything in between, a Wharton degree can be very, very helpful in that regard for a variety of different reasons. I won't go into here, but they are really strong on that front. And then also the healthcare. Wharton's healthcare management program is one of the best in the MBA world. And if you are considering a career in healthcare, then Wharton is your top option on that category of schools to apply to. All right, so the program strength is, of course, as I mentioned, finance, but individuals who are interested in healthcare, interested in entrepreneurship and technology, but entrepreneurship does not only mean technology. So that's why I have entrepreneurship in here. If you are looking to be an entrepreneur in any sector, Wharton has an entire building dedicated to entrepreneurship and can be a great place for you to strengthen your skills and be able to launch your initiatives that you are looking to launch. And of course, they're also really strong in real estate. So those are some of the areas that you can consider, or if you're considering those, then Wharton makes sense. We talked a bit last week about Booth, but I will continue again, given that not everyone watched last week's video. This comparison is between Booth and Wharton. So the class at Booth is slightly smaller than Wharton's. The acceptance rate is higher at Booth than it is at Wharton. I give these numbers, but I'm always a little bit wary because applicants will sometimes see these numbers and they're like, oh, it's not 5%, therefore I can get in. Absolutely, you can get in. But it doesn't mean that it's not competitive, right? Because they are looking for a certain kind of individual, and you do want to make sure that you are keeping in mind the fact that you are marketing yourself in your application to these business schools. So definitely look at these numbers as, okay, it's not a Stanford, right? I can do it, but I still need to put in effort to present a candidate that Booth and Wharton are looking for. Booth does have the highest number of Nobel laureates as professors on campus at Booth. It's a research institution with quite a bit of research opportunities happening, and it's also known as a very quant school too. It is analytically driven curriculum and obviously very strong in economic and finance. And individuals that are going through the Booth curriculum essentially accept the fact that it's going to be quantitatively rigorous, and there is going to be, irrespective of the field that you're going, so you don't have to only go in finance. You can do finance consulting. You can do a variety of different careers, but the focus of the curriculum is going to be very analytical. So if that's something you're looking for, then Booth is a great place to be. The culture is independent, but also, of course, very collaborative. They are looking to be support students, or students on campus and professors are looking to be of support to one another. But it does have, because the curriculum is actually very flexible. There's only one required class. Everything else you build around what your needs are. It's quite independent in terms of like recognizing what you need. So if you are someone who really knows what you want, Booth can be a really, really good place to offer you the flexibility to really carve a path for your career that is in alignment with what your aspirations are. Okay, I think I skipped. I jumped the gun on this slide. Essentially, like, the school is a very focused on analytics. Excuse me, I can't speak this morning. And the focus is, of course, finance. You know, it's also known as a finance school, but it does have economics focused slant, and entrepreneurship is very popular at Booth. All right, the key program differences. So I mentioned already, Booth is very flexible. And if you know what you want in terms of your goals, in terms of what the lessons you need to learn, the areas of development, Booth's flexibility will be really ideal. Booth is also a school that will only accept people who know what they want. So you definitely want to make sure that you have spent enough time understanding where your weaknesses are in terms of your professional development, and then how Booth is going to be able to give those to you, in which way, and how will those opportunities that Booth offers be beneficial to your career goals. So if you have aspirations, it's never going to be a one-stop shop. It's like, I need this and I'm going to get it at Booth specifically. It's an amalgamation and a combination of different experiences that will make the Booth journey very helpful in terms of your career development. But you do need to know essentially what you're going to take out of the experience. Wharton, on the other hand, it has a much more structured first year curriculum. So you have to go through the process that they put you through. And then you have an option to customize afterwards your experience at Wharton. So for Wharton is, if you want to have structure, if you need the structure in terms of your foundations in getting started, then the curriculum at Wharton is probably better than the flexible one at Booth. But even though you are going with a structure at Wharton, you can still have an option. You still have options in terms of, choosing a major that's in alignment with what you want to do, and also customizing your experience through electives in the program. Okay, I see a question that has come in. How marketable is the Booth brand outside of the United States? Also, how marketable is the Booth part-time MBA in the context of finance and tech? Booth within the United States, Booth is a very marketable program. Even globally now, because they have actually launched some global programs, so like the global EMBA. So it's not Wharton caliber, of course, but it is very marketable. The part-time, I would say you would have to do a lot of the legwork yourself to go through the recruiting process. But Booth is very much a Booth alumni are really known to be helpful in terms of helping one another and even others, but especially one another, to grow professionally. So you are in the network. You can definitely leverage the network. In the part-time program, I would most likely assume that you would be in the Midwest geography much more in terms of making those transitions. Typically, the reason why a 2-year MBA program it's more sought after is because you go in and you have the full immersive experience, including the recruiting process and all of those opportunities that the full-time program offers, that it's much more difficult to organize and structure for applicants who are, or candidates who are part-time students. So you can definitely leverage the alumni for the part-time. It's going to be more like self-initiated versus the full-time program, where they have a lot more resources and a lot more opportunities because it's much more structured. The expectation is that you are a full-time student on campus doing all the activities that they are hosting and that they're creating, versus part-time with the expectation is that you have a full-time job. All right. Learning. Booth has very analytical approach to all of their courses, and for Wharton, and it's also team focused, but less so than at Wharton. Wharton, the team focus is very, very prevalent, and it's a lot of hands-on learning opportunities that are offered at Wharton, and it's also the reason why the Wharton application process has a team-based interview style, because it's really emulating the Wharton experience. So they are looking to see how you will be at Wharton. The focus post-MBA, obviously for both schools, is finance, is also consulting, tech for both of those programs as well. I would say Wharton has both schools actually do have quite a strong entrepreneurship, or at least they're focusing a lot more on the entrepreneurship side of things. And Wharton has definitely the healthcare, the real estate segment in terms of careers. Wharton also, for those who are looking perhaps to have an international career, Wharton is probably a better option on that front, because it does have a lot more opportunities, even while you're an MBA student, to have global experiences, global hands-on learning opportunities. All right. In terms of the admissions, what are the admission teams looking for when they look at a candidate's application and invite them to interview? They're looking for a demonstrated ability to lead teams with also a collaborative mindset. So sometimes applicants have very structured work environments, And also sometimes this means that you are really focused around the success of a project. You do need, for Wharton, you do need to have a really good mesh between the two. So it's not just about the success of the project. Of course, we all want successful project outcomes, but it's also about the team that you are working with, making sure that you are integrating everyone's perspectives, because that's how one learns. That's how the Wharton experience is structured. So if you are not able to communicate that, then you are not necessarily matching the Wharton successful student in your application. They are also looking for individuals who are exploring new ways of doing of solving problems, and they're also looking for critical thinkers in terms of, what you're like, how you work on different problems, right, or experiences. They don't always need to be problems, but most of the times you are solving problems and the process of doing your job. The way you're going to communicate this is going to be throughout the applications, particularly written components of the applications, including your resume and including your essays. In terms of character, they are, of course, looking for someone who is adaptable, given the fact that you are in a very, very much in a team setting, in a teamwork environment or team-focused environment. They are looking for someone who can adapt and integrate various different experiences and perspectives into the solution. So how you communicate your experiences that you have had to date is going to be really important in terms of demonstrating your ability to have success and find success in the Wharton MBA journey. In terms of Booth, we also talked about this last week, but I was just going to rephrase this. Obviously, the admission team is looking for the analytical skills and quantitative competence. I would say Booth is, both schools are very quant heavy. They want individuals who have the quantitative aptitude to be successful. And the school is looking for this component in your application, in your past experiences. You don't have to have worked in finance. So if you're not a finance person, it's okay. But you do want to showcase that you are someone who is comfortable with quantitative data. This can come through your test scores. It could come through the way you talk about the experiences and how you make decisions in solving problems as you go through your career journey to date. Booth is a very goal-oriented school. They are expecting you to have a very clear understanding of where you're going, and a very clear understanding is how Booth is going to help you get there. If you have attended any one of their information session, you must have already heard that they want to know the why. Why is very important to Booth, and if you are unable to communicate this, it will make it very challenging for you to convert an application to an offer. So definitely spend time. Like, this means that you just need time to actually articulate, first and foremost, identify what the opportunities are, and then be able to dive deeper and reflect on how those opportunities are going to be valuable for your career. Because the school is very, very flexible in terms of what your experience is going to look like, in terms of classes that you're going to be enrolled in, they are looking for the self-starter. They're looking for the independent person who knows what they want and goes for what they want. That's also going to come across in your goal statement, in the way you present your future as far as how you're going to leverage Booth. But also, because this is not only about the future that you are imagining, it's also about the history that you bring, which is indicative of your potential future. Then also your essays need to communicate this kind of independent self-starter mindset that Booth is expecting. When it comes to choosing the right programs, I think there are 3 elements that are most important, not the only ones, but most important in terms of your ability to really identify a program that will give you what you need in terms of going to where you want to go. And that is your career. Does it help you get to where you want to go? Does it have the right culture so that you feel that you are going to be successful in the community of individuals who inspire you, who are going to challenge you in the right way to get to your best version, or the version that you want, whatever that looks like. And then how strong is the network? Business school is not just about the short-term experience, is really about your long-term success. So you should not be thinking about an MBA just for what am I going to get immediately post a degree. Of course, that's important. However, this is about the kinds of opportunities that will show up throughout your career and how you're going to leverage that network. So in terms of career alignment, if you're looking for a career in finance, in consulting, a career where the work that you do is very analytical, even if it's not finance and consulting, then Booth can definitely be the right program for you. If you are looking for also work in finance, you're looking for work in healthcare, consulting, but more even a global career where the focus is around bringing people together, where you're going to be able to cast a vision forward and get to building better businesses, then Wharton may be the right option for you. Meaning you don't have to have all the greatest ideas, but that you are very much collaborative and accepting of other people's perspective for the sole aim of having the best possible business moving forward. In terms of culture, if you are looking for slightly smaller class and you are someone who's very independent, who likes to be creative in terms of how you leverage opportunities, then Booth is going to be the right place for you. In terms of Wharton, if you are looking for a very social school, if you're looking for a school that's going to give you a huge a lot of resources, both locally, nationally, and internationally, and you want to leverage this kind of network, then in terms of like this community of individuals, then Wharton may be the right culture fit for you. In terms of the network and alumni, sort of like the beyond the specific 2 years that you are in the program, somewhat similar. If you're looking for a network of individuals that is going to have strong national, both of the schools are really good. International, Wharton is going to be better. If you're looking for careers in finance and consulting, again, both schools are going to do a really good job in that. But if you are looking to be around individuals who are going to have sort of very pragmatic approaches and be somewhat more pragmatic in their work environment, then probably Booth is going to be a little bit better, and the network is going to support that kind of community. Whereas Wharton is going to have a larger and more diverse, I would say, alumni body that can offer quite a variety of different avenues, even if you are, working in marketing at a tech company, and this tech company needs funding, showing up in front of investors with a Wharton MBA has a different presence in terms of, the relationship that you are able to build with those individuals. I think we're running out of time. Okay, so how you tailor your applications. I'm going to go quickly here. Both schools are going to want specifics in terms of your application. You need to have really clear goals in terms of what you want and have the ability to identify specifically what the school is going to be able to give you. They're going to want to see that you have leadership capabilities for both schools, and that you are someone who is very analytical in nature, even if you don't have a quintessential analytical job. And they want recommenders who are going to be enthusiastic about your future and who are going to be essentially singing your praises in terms of your really in terms of your ability to be a great community member in the MBA program, as well as beyond the MBA experience itself. Even though the application questions for essays I'm talking about here are very, I consider straightforward, but I could be biased because this is what I do for a living. Even if they are pretty straightforward, I will say that you do need to first lay out the foundation of what you want to communicate, and then make sure that you dive deeper into a reflection of why everything that you're including there has to be a reason for having it there. And the reflection helps them see who you are, how you think, and be able to identify that you are the right kind of candidate for them. So spend the next 2 months really articulating these experiences in your application and what you're looking to gain out of the school in these applications. If you need support, definitely reach out, and we can discuss what support that we offer and if that is a good match on both ends. Thank you for being here. We're over time. I appreciate you being here, and don't forget to join next week. We are going to have 2 events happening. The first one is the GMAT Club event, where we're going to talk about how you make your application stand out. So definitely register for that. Our session is going to be on November 13th, and the Thursday event next week, so the same time 1 week from today, is going to be the Columbia versus NYU Stern. So the 2 New York City schools, we're going to do a comparison between those 2. If you're considering those, definitely reach out, register so that you're notified, you don't forget that we are hosting this event, and subscribe to our channel so also know when we have a new content being published that can be helpful in your application journey. Thank you again for being here and watching, and I will see you next week.